Right, good afternoon, traders. Today is April 22nd, 2025. My name Coach Carignan, lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Let's take a look at the markets today. It was a tough day for me, all right? A lot of wiggling back and forth across VWAP. Multiple attempts, in the SPY 71030 area, which I said, if you followed the video this morning, that was probably going to be some resistance right there. And I think we got on top of it into the close. We'll see what happens. Looks like the flows of the gamma flows allowed us through. Again, it's closing time. It doesn't mean much. There'll be a whole new set of gamma bars, all right, to look at in the morning, all right? But let's take a peek at the market for today, okay? So let's move this over. Let's also look at the instructions that I kind of set forth for my plan for today. So we'll take a peek at those as well. So before we dig into that, let's get the plan out. And I think that's not the plan. That's not the plan. That's not the plan. Let's see if I can find the plan right here. Okay, I know I got it up here somewhere. Let's bump this. Move this down. Here's the plan. Okay, so yeah, this is the plan. Okay, so observed. That's it right there. All right, so I'll move this out of the way. And if you got any questions on a stock you want me to look at, post it in there. I will try not to forget. Like I missed somebody yesterday. So post it up in there, and I will try to look through it, double check it before I leave today. But anyways, okay, overall, observe bearish market consolidation under. Boy, that doesn't look like it. That doesn't look like the same thing. All right, we'll just go with this. All right, this is the one. All right. Observe bullish market price action over yesterday's closing and post-market price action. That's a bullish environment for me, okay? So I plan to trade a continuation of a pre-market 10-minute uptrend. If there is one, now, there might not be one, all right? I plan to trade a 10-minute downtrend below 706. So let's go see what happened if we got a 10-minute uptrend, or if we got a breakdown underneath 706. All right, so here's the morning hour, and you can see prices just keeps moving higher if I take a line and draw it through it. So you can see this would be the post market right there. So there's a line right there. This would be the pre-market, the beginning of the pre-market right here. All right, so all of that, and then we start another. If I zoom in here, we got another level of just kind of melting up. And then we start another level right here into the open. Okay, so you can see right there. There's where we broke over that at the last half hour right there, a little rally into the close right there. So here's SPY. You got, it keeps ramping up. If you look at the candles right here, all right, you can see the last one just disappeared because they only allow me 2, and the new one starts now at 4 o'clock. All right, so you can see a lot of consolidation. So I just moved this off, and you got consolidation, or we're moving up. So you can see we had a little 10-minute uptrend right there. I put it on a 10-minute chart and zoom in. A little bit of a 10-minute. Okay, a little bit of a 10-minute uptrend right there. Another little 10-minute uptrend right there after consolidating. And then a little ramp up right there. So we had a little 10-minute uptrend right through here on this, on the candles in the beginning of the day. And I said, I posted something in the room that if price got on top of that wick right here, I circled it, and I got it here in the room somewhere. I got it. That I wanted to buy some calls. All right, so up here I kind of posted at the beginning of the day. It's up here, and it's coming up. That's not it. I guess I can't find it. I didn't post it. I would, anyways. It was up there on the screen. I wanted to buy some calls over that number right there. So I got it hidden away or socked away somewhere. So anyways, I wanted to buy calls up over that number, over that wick. So I bought the 712 calls. Of course, you can see that it didn't go far. All right. Just barely far enough. Barely breaking like maybe one rubber band candle, and then just getting, it just stopped. And then it got one candle, then it just stopped. And then they started to melt off right there underneath VWAP. So it was, it was a tough day for me because we were up over VWAP, didn't get any follow through. If you looked at the PPO, you could see on the PPO, was probably no reason to really trade this. Okay, because if we look right here, we're at 0.04. All right, so here's that candle right there on the 10-minute chart. We're at 0.03, 0.04, 0.04, 0.05. So we never even got over 0.06. All right, so and 0.06 is the beginning of what could possibly be a good rally. So the PPO on the 10-minute just never got there, and you can see just a lot of sideways price action on the PPO, and you can see it right here represented right here in the price action as well. So you can see price moves up, it goes under, it moves up, and then it melts off, and then it goes up at the end of the day. But you can see when it holds like this inspires me when I see multiple attempts on the same number. See over there, if I put my crosshairs up on it, see how all these wicks just grind right into 710.35. And if you caught the morning video, you would have known that, 710.35 may present some resistance, and it did for today, okay? And it just took us all day of wearing them down up there at 710.35 before we finally break through in the end. And you can see in the 10-minute uptrend, all right, we got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close, all right? So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, if you're trading futures, you're probably going to get a new all-time high tonight in the aftermarket, and most likely in the Asian market. All right, I wouldn't doubt it. All right, if you don't get one in the Asian market, I'll bet you get one in the European market. All right, if you haven't got one in the Asian market, so look for that. Look for that 15 or that 10-minute uptrend tonight in the futures on the ES or the MES. Okay, I think you're going to find it. Now, if you ever listen to me, I used to trade on the futures. I used to trade the 9 EMA and the 17. Okay, I switched because I noticed a lot of tails were coming through my 17. So I switched to a 34 and a 17. All right. So those are my two moving averages on my futures platforms. Okay, 34 and 17. I just find that the 34 is able to capture the bottom of the tails a lot better than the 17 did. I've seen a lot of price action go right through the 17 last night, but it should once you get that 10-minute trend to hold tonight, that 34 and 17 should work out nice. All right, anyways, 10-minute uptrend coming into the close, 2-hour candle. All right, we've got the sticks. Okay, you can see the sticks and the 3 riding up on top of the 8. You got daylight between the 3 and the 8. So you got yourself a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. I thought we were going to make a visit down here and finish off a 2% correction. I guess they got enough with the 1.5 right here. Okay, so there's SPY on the 2-hour chart. 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. We did not get a new all-time high today. All right, sorry to say that. But we did get a nice candle. All right, we've got, what's that high? That high is 711.28. This high is 711.45. So we got a higher low, we got a higher high. We closed over the bullish trap. Okay, and we're put this quad lines on here. You're at the top of quadrant 4. You're bullish, and you're in an uptrend. All right, on the daily chart. Same thing for the weekly, bullish. Here's the origin, and in an uptrend on the weekly, and on the monthly. See all the green dots? Okay, bullish and in an uptrend. All right, on the weekly, monthly, daily, 2-hour, and the 10-minute. So all the time frames that I covered, all in uptrends. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and it's probably going to be a safe bet that the QQQ is doing the same thing, if not better. And they probably did put in a new all-time high. All right, so into the close. Here's your 10-minute chart, 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. Okay, so keep watching that. And when you do the futures tonight, keep both of these side by side. One of the NQ, MNQ, one of the MES. One of them might make like an exhaustion move. All right, and it will affect the other one. They're both correlated, so whatever happens to one sometimes happens to the other. So if one of them gets to a gamma strike, all right, and then rolls over, the other one will do the same thing sometimes. Okay, so there's 10-minute uptrend coming into the close, 2-hour. Okay, obviously see the sticks and the 3 riding up on top of the 8. 2-hour, obviously got a new all-time high. 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. Daily candle right there. So that was the all-time high anchored VWAP. That pink line right there that's about 2.5 candles long. Okay, so new all-time high for QQQ on the daily chart. New all-time high. Okay, I'll pan out. Here's the April origin, up, over, okay. Fell out of the upper third, then climbed back in and ripped for a new all-time high. Weekly candle, weekly chart, Weekly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. We'll look at that on the daily chart. All right, so Diamond Dow's an inside day. They closed over a bullish trap, over the rising 17. There's a high, and yesterday they made a higher high, so they're no longer in a downtrend. They're in an uptrend. So they're near the top of quadrant 4, obviously in the upper third, bullish and in an uptrend for Diamond Dow. Okay, let's take a look at IWM. Okay, so IWM made a new all-time high yesterday. Today they put in an inside day, lower high, higher low, closing over a bullish trap, closing over the rising 17. Again, top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. You got a high, they're making higher highs, bullish and in an uptrend for IWM. Let's take a look at Stinker. All right, Stinker, nice comeback for Stinker, really nice. Higher low, higher high. Closing over a bullish trap, closing over the rising 17. closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Not quite in the upper third yet. Okay, well, maybe if that said 67, it would have been. Okay, not quite. Okay, so new all-time high for, not new all-time high. It's still neutral, but knocking on the door of the upper third. All right. Okay, new rally high. All right, I'll say that, new rally high. So that's neutral in an uptrend, and darn near being bullish. All right, if it can climb up into that upper third, I'll zoom way out. If it can climb into the upper third up here, all right, this could be bullish. All right, right now it's neutral and obviously moving higher. All right, got a high here, making higher highs. Nice uptrend going on. A little bit extended. I think they should rest a little longer, but who am I to tell them what to do? Okay, but here we are, price. This is the all-time low. That's the all-time high. This pink line's the all-time high anchored VWAP. If you're a bull, you want to be over that all-time high anchored VWAP. If you're a bull, you want to be over the rising 17. You can see FNGU knocking on the door of the bullish upper third. So that's neutral and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at silver. All right, silver for today. I'm going to find the candle here. Inside day, lower high, higher low. Closing over a bullish trap. Over the 17. Under the pink line, that's the all-time high anchored VWAP. Middle of quadrant 3. All right, so not going to be bullish. So it's neutral. Haven't made a lower low. So they're still in an uptrend on silver. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Gold is inside day as well. That's a lower high and higher low. We closed under a bearish trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, but in the bottom of quadrant 4, obviously in the upper third, okay, so, and under the all-time high anchored VWAP, obviously in the upper third, so that's bullish. And they have not made any lower lows, unless you want to count that as a low. All right, so they haven't made any lower lows, so they're in an uptrend. They're not moving up. They've had 3 melt-off days so far, so not moving up. Honestly, if they get below this candle here, I'm going to call it a downtrend. So there's gold on the daily chart. It's bullish, all right, and in an uptrend, but not moving up. All right, that's gold. Let's take a look at US. Here's the whole picture for gold. Okay, so that's the all-time high. This is the origin of the rally back here in 2022. So you can see all the way up here in quadrant 4. Let's take a look at USO. All right, USO is a higher low and a higher high. We closed over a bullish trap, closed over the flat 17. We closed in the bottom of quadrant 4, so we're bullish. We got a high, we made a higher high, so we're in an uptrend. So bullish and in an uptrend for USO on the daily candle. All right, daily chart. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG, let's take it. Yeah, it's the daily chart. Yeah. Oh, no wonder. All right, so here we go. I was looking for something to be up here, and that confused me for a second. But this is UNG. I don't know how I got confused with UNG. All right, anyways, 12-month high right there back in the beginning of 2025. So that's 12-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, you can see price struggling multiple times here to get on top and hold the higher ground. Just can't do it. That's the all-time low right there. And we're in jeopardy, all right, of taking out the all-time low. See how close we are? Very close. Anyways, you can see we're in the lower third of the quad line, so we're bearish. All right, and you can see we've got a low here, and we made lower lows. All right, so we're in a downtrend, bearish, and in a downtrend for UNG on the daily chart. All right, let's take a look at technicals, T2101. All right, market went stagnant today. We didn't sell off a whole lot, but we did move up. But we did kind of like melt a little higher, but we did lose some participation right there. I think we had an inside day, really. We did lose some participation right there on an inside day, so not too many retailers inspired to trade today. I guess they're waiting on something, and it might be Tesla after the close. We'll see what happens. Again, we're looking at tech. That's the tip of the spear for technology. And if we don't have technology in an uptrend, I'm going to tell you, we're probably not going to have an uptrend because I don't think the transports and the financials have enough clout to carry the market. So, I mean, every uptrend we've had has been led by technology. All right, so you're not going to get it out of utilities and staples. All right, so if technology is in favor or not in favor, so all eyes are on tech. So we got Intel reporting tomorrow night, so going to be a lot of eyes on Tesla tonight, Lam Research tonight, and as well as IBM and the other one there. I forget the name of it, but there's Texas Instruments. Yeah, all eyes are going to be on all the tech. All right, because if tech's not reporting well, they might not have a reason to rally, or it's going to be hard to sell shares to retailers if you don't have good earnings. All right, who's going to want to buy crappy earnings, right? So they're not going to rally if there's some crappy earnings. So all eyes are going to be on tech. All right, so keep an eye on that. All right, so there's T2101 losing a little bit more participation to be expected on an inside day. T2122, remember we fell out of the overbought zone yesterday, and we camped out in the buy zone. Well, looks like today we fell out of the buy zone. I guess we overstayed our welcome. All right, so we had to put some lake water on the coals, all right, and go set up a new camp here in the buyer's chop zone. Keep kind of melting lower and lower here. Not my way of doing things. I would have liked to climb back into the overbought zone. It's not happening. It is what it is. T2122. We're still bullish. All right, but let's call the card the way it is. We're losing it. This is not the ace of spades anymore. Okay, this is more like the 10, all right? All right, if you were holding cards, you got a high card of a 10 on this, all right? This would be, Jack Queen. This would be King Ace up there, okay? This is just a 10, all right? So nothing really fantastic, but the only good news I can say is we're over the midpoint and we're on the bullish side of the 50-yard line right here. That's T2122. And we could climb back up in there, okay? We may be up in here tomorrow. We'll see. It's looking good overnight, all right, or into the evening hours. We'll see. T2123. Okay, so here's that bullish gap up. Still holding. Okay, notice the bears still haven't been able to extinguish or fill the gap that came from yesterday's gap up and produce the new all-time high. So bears unable to fill the gap right here yesterday and today. Okay, so looks like a straight line across here. I don't see any lower lows. Well, I do right here. We made... I'm going to give this to the bulls, all right? It's too close. I'm just going to say we're still in an uptrend because they didn't fill the gap, all right? I mean, if you're splitting hairs, I think this could be like a penny or a dollar less than that right there, and that would be a downtrend. leaving us with a downtrend for the rest of the day. But all in all, you can see these candles are so tight, they're actually almost disappeared right through here on T2123. There was a time that I looked back at the candles and they were that small and it was kind of a tell. I can't remember where it was, whether it was here that I saw that happen and then we had the fall down, or somewhere else, or whether it was down here where we started to rise back up. We'll see. All right, anyways, you're up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. Not filling the gap from yesterday. That's a good sign that the bulls are still in charge. So you notice we're holding the higher ground. That's bullish right up there. We made a new all-time high yesterday, so we didn't get one today. It's okay. We could come back and get one tomorrow. This is the 15-minute chart. All right. When I put the quad lines on here, it's going to, remember, we haven't left the all-time highs up here, so it's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Okay. Top of quadrant 4, bullish and in an uptrend. All right. Now, if you're splitting hairs, this candle might be lower than that candle by maybe a penny or $1 or something. But I'm not going to take the time to measure it, only because you can see price goes up and holds the higher ground. All right. Just know that this is bullish right there when you see that happen, even if they did make a lower low right there. Okay, so T2123 15-minute chart. 3-bar chart. Let's take this out of the way. Top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. All right. And in an uptrend, we haven't made any lower lows. Remember, we made a new all-time high, so we're still in an uptrend. Up over the rising 200 SMA, that's bullish right up there. You can see here's the origin of our rally back here in April. We go up. All right. Make a new all-time high for the year 2025. Pull back, make a higher low. Rip, make a new all-time high for the beginning of 2026. Again, make another higher low, all right, in 2026. Rip and make another new all-time high for T2123 in 2026. Okay, so there's 3-bar chart, bullish and in an uptrend for T2123. FNGU, okay, remember FNGU had a really good day today. Okay, see this? Bullish gap up. Okay, not filled by the bears. Who's in control? The bulls. All right, the bears are unable. Gaps by nature are magnetic, so if they can't fill the gap by noon, all right, there's a good chance you're going to get bullied all day long, all right, by the bulls. All right, you can see a high here, and they're making higher highs. So we're obviously in an uptrend. You're up over this rising 200 SMA. We're on the 15-minute chart, by the way. On the rising 200 SMA, that's bullish right there. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. You're up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, that's where you want to be if you're a bull. And if I encompass as much time as I can on this 15-minute chart, remember, this is not the daily chart. The daily was knocking on the door of the bullish upper third. Okay, this is the 15-minute. We're in the top of quadrant 4. This is as much time as I can encompass. That's bullish and in an uptrend right there on FNGU. Okay, so if you got any stocks you want to look at, let's go over these just for a second, okay, because I did share some stuff late last night right here. Okay, so here's LNG support. Okay, notice LNG, we can take a look at that today. Okay, closed yesterday around 257. Support 245. You can see all of these peaks right here. That's 245 right there. Run into 245, and then you can see price gets up and then holds on top of support. I mean, that's a big, whenever you see that happen, look at all the good stuff that's happened when you rise above the resistance and then it holds as support. Let me show you for instance, and I'm going to go back here on T21 23, because there's a perfect example of what I asked it to do. Okay, so we were down here and we made a higher low. And I said, like, look, hey, if we can get on top of, see this flat 200 SMA and hold that higher ground up there, okay, the bears are going to get spooked, all right? The longer you hold that higher ground up there, they're not going to want to go for another rip to the upside, okay? So here comes the bull stampede to the upside, making the new all-time high. Again, getting up, holding over that what was once resistance, holding over support. Okay, so holding on top of support, consolidating, and then you get that bull stampede up to make new all-time highs. There's a perfect example of that right there. Okay, so back over here where we were in this, and I had this up here. So there's LNG, and you can see LNG rips to some, I don't know if that's a new all-time high for LNG, but anyways, it ripped up there. We had pullback, and you can see on the 2-hour time frame, LNG, the bulls are stepping in. See they're bouncing it off of this, so that they're probably going to break this downtrend right through here. Okay, if they haven't done so already. We'll take a look at that in a second. So that's LNG. I wanted to make a note of that yeah, we looked at that yesterday. And then that was LNG. And then here is MDB. All right, so support for MDB is 230.50, and the alternate support below that is the 199.50. Okay, so 250. No, 230.50 and 199.50 right there. And you can see the valleys come in right here on the daily chart, and the peaks go up, and then they get up and they try to hold, but they lose it. And then you can see price comes down, and look how it bounces up, and it comes back to the same spot. It bounces again, and then it bounces again right there, MDB. So right there, that's your support, 230.50. All right, so we can look at that on a daily chart if you want to. MDB. All right, and let's see if I got one with. I don't have any lines on this one. All right, so anyways, you can see if I put a line in here, 230, 46, 230.50 right there. Okay, you can see price comes to this area, price comes up to it, and it's held underneath. It acts as support here, here, resistance here, support for a little bit, and then resistance when we're underneath it, and then they finally get above it. You can see the bounce right there. So 230.50, that's your support. You can see on the 2-hour time frame, you're breaking the trend right there. On the 2-hour, you've got nice uptrend starting right there, and you got a high and you made a higher high. The only thing spooky about this is you made a lower low right there. So really, if you can get on top of this 277.50 area, all right, in other words, get on top of this 2-hour 200 SMA, you could be in good shape up there, all right, if you could get on top of that. I bet it's here. There it is. Okay, so it's on the wrong chart. Okay, so if you could get over that 277.50 number right up there, all right, you'd be looking good. All right, you can see where the gap started right there, and you can see where price stops right there. So you're right into resistance. All right, and the good news is, look, you're grinding away at the overhead supply. Okay, so you've been there once, twice. This is the third time. A lot of times, third time's a charm. So that's looking good to go higher. As long as they don't give up the grind. If they don't give up the grind, I think they make it through. And you get the gap fill. Look at this. Got a nice gap fill coming right in there. Might have a little pit stop right here on that little peak low, that valley low. But all in all, looking good on MDB on that 2-hour uptrend right there. Okay, see that 2-hour uptrend right there. All right, and then LNG right here. Okay, so you can see LNG up. That might be the all-time high. Yeah, that's an all-time high for LNG right there. So you can see I even wrote this out here. So this is LNG support 245. Observed bull stepping in. So we go to the 2-hour. And you can see them rallying price up. And you got a 2-hour uptrend. Okay, so here's the news. All right, that's LNG. But, all right, you got a downtrend right there. Okay, so I think you break the downtrend. All right, you might make one more visit down here and then break the downtrend. But I think breaking the downtrend is certainly soon. All right, we'll see what happens. That is 245 support there. John, thoughts on MSOS? Well, I like it. I just went through talking with Eric about liking MSOS. The nice thing about MSOS is it's an ETF, all right? And I don't know what the name pure means in it, but I like it. If that is all pure cannabis or HTH, whatever they're using, all right? And Ed came in earlier and he said that things, I'll go with something in a second. He said that today, that's not it, reported that Trump will reclassify marijuana as soon as today. All right, so you're in the driver's seat here, okay? I think everything good can come out of this. This one does not have CGC in it, all right? So I don't know how much, how pure the pure is, okay? Sometimes it's part of the name, but there's nothing pure about it, all right? But I do like this. I like the performance. You got a big exhaustion candle right there. And that might be an igniting candle too, all right? Because we are, come on, let's face it, we're igniting off of a lot of consolidation right through here. So we could see an MMRP on the bullish side and then play out to the upside right there. What I do like is this is everything inside of MSOS, but of course it says pure. Now I don't know how valid pure is, okay? But I want you to take a peek at YOLO. All right, this is YOLO, like as in you only live once. Okay, now here's YOLO, and if you look at that, that actually has MSOS in it. It has Tilray in it. So here's YOLO, which is another pure cannabis ETF. All right, again, I don't know what the pure means. All right, I don't know how pure that is, but it actually has another ETF in it. It has the CGC. It has Tilray. It has Sundial. So it's got Sundial twice if it's got MSOS in it as well. All right, because MSOS is an ETF. All right, which also has Sundial in it as well. All right, so you're getting a double dose of Sundial. So again, the better performer for today based on the news. All right. The highest was CXXIF, and I saw MSOS was at the top of YOLO. All right. Let's take a look at YOLO. All right. And if we look at, I don't know how I did that. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so here's YOLO. And you can see CGC was probably the highest performer in the YOLO Pure Cannabis ETF. All right. So I like them both. It just happened to be today. CGC climbed on top of MSOS. MSOS was higher than CGC earlier in the day. But this one, this PCLOF, which is probably a pink sheet with a share price of 4 cents a share, okay, got a 43% change. But I don't think that's in the NYSE right there. That's probably just a pink sheet right there. I'm sure MSOS over $3. That's probably in the SPY, or at least in the IWM. And then you got Tilray and all of that. So if you wanted to pick one, YOLO might be a better answer right here because it includes all of those. But then you don't know how much junk it's got in it too. So you can see they rallied from 244 right on up to 359 right there. But anyways, your question was on MSOS. I'm going to like it until the hype is over. And what you're seeing right now is hype, not earnings, okay? It's hype. All right? You got every fund manager is willing to sell to the retail trader right here. Okay? And then they're just going to let it free fall. They're not going to support the price. They may support the price and keep building it up higher. But anyways, let's look at so there's your 2 hour with the balance of power. You got Rockstar here, Rockstar here, Rockstar here. That's looking good. Let's take a look at CGC. Look at CGC right up until the end. So I like that. All right, I like this on the very last candle of CGC. That looks great. MSOS. That looks good too. They went up, now they broke out. Question is, are they going to hold the higher ground up here at $5? Five's like one of those psychological numbers, so we'll see what they want to do. Okay, they're up over this resistance right here. So you got 6 months resistance right here at the $5 number. So look for them to hold for 4 days or 3 days. And then who knows? You might get an attack on that high right there at 722. Look for the 3-day hold. All right, in there, or the maybe five of these 2 hour candles to hold up here, and then look for another rip to the upside after that. But I like it. I like MSOS. I think it's holding some of the right cards for the right news right now. Again, as soon as it gets reclassified, I think this is set to go higher. I don't know how high it's going to go. All right. Again, it'll all be news driven. Because nothing's changed. All of these companies are doing the same thing. I'm not sure if they're growers or retailers. All right. I'm not sure about any of them. But, if they're growers, they're doing the same thing. They're planting seeds, fertilizing them, and harvesting the crop. Okay, if they're sellers, then they got a little, a storefront, probably a brick and mortar place, because you can't send it through the mail. Again, they still haven't legalized it. It's only going to get reclassified. It does depend on the fine lines in between if they're going to allow tax returns and banking to accept this as a legitimate business. Okay, so again, it's all the devil's in the details. If they're going to allow these people to get loans, all right, and credit cards and do credit card processing. Right now, everybody's a cash business, all right, which is, it's cash, all right. It's really not legal, but the government, you know how ICE didn't do their job for 15 years. Well, this is DEA not paying a lot of attention to this. They're more interested in the fentanyl and the other harsh stuff. Okay, they're not out to to get the people doing the marijuana thing right now. Okay, they rather go after the fentanyl because it's God knows it's more deadly. All right, so again, they're just not doing their job, and later on, who knows, they may want to do their job. All right. Okay, CGC is Canadian. See, I didn't know that. So we got a little conversation going here, in the after hours here. And Tex likes pure YOLO. All right. And he's got a little smile next to him. Robert says CGC is Canadian. Eura and Apple look like they're setting up. I'm going to take it that you want me to look at those. Tesla beat. Thanks, Gene. And I just did MSOS. So I like it. I like that 2-hour uptrend till it ends, Robert, on MSOS. Okay? Look for them to hold the higher ground on $5. Okay, and you got URA. So let's push this down. And let's go to see URA. And I'm going to go to the daily chart. And I'm going to spread it way out. Okay, so it's consolidating right through here. And I don't see anything special happening. Again, I don't know where you got it. And if you got it right here or if you're looking to get it. You obviously say sellers here, 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 here. Okay, so you're right now you're in the area where the sellers have displayed themselves before, all right? And so they're lingering right here. Okay, so if you're looking to buy this, I would wait till it gets past the sellers and then sets the higher low. That would be it. Or if you want to get it and ride up through the sellers because you think this is the time. For me, I'm never that lucky where I'm thinking like this is the time. It always rolls over on me. All right, so you probably have better luck. But let's just face it, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th time. Okay, so sometimes it goes after the 5th time or on the 3rd time. Okay, so it's looking good so far. They're back up in there. You've got a daily uptrend, which probably equates to a 2-hour uptrend. You've got a bullish engulfing candle right there. That's an excellent sign. Follow through tomorrow. I would jump on it and try it with a stop right underneath that red candle. All right, if it lit up green tomorrow, I would try it because I would look for that follow through. But I'd have my stop right there, right around 54. 54 would be my stop. Okay, remember it's the 5th time, and this is where the sellers have been operating. And this might be the time they finally get up here and hold the $60 number and look for them to hold that higher ground when they get up there. And Apple doing the consolidation too. Okay, both of those that you mentioned that you like. All right, they're right up into. This is where I take profits into that target, into the same area that sellers showed up before. I wait for them to get up. If they can show me they can hold it, like see how they got up here and then they hold it like that, that's looking good. I would like that if I saw a green candle wipe out a red candle right there where it holds on top of this. See the resistance? See all these wicks that go up into this number? All right, so that's resistance. If I see a green erased red after the hold, that would inspire me for new highs. Okay, but obviously you see sellers, he showed up here. You can see a 1 wick right there. Seller showed up there. You can see a red sell-off candle there. And you're right back in the same spot. Now, if you want to put your stop underneath that red candle and ride it up through because you think that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times is a charm. All right. There you go. Again, stop would go underneath that red candle and I'd look to ride it up through because they've been banging away at this number for a while. All right. And maybe they make it up through. Now that tech is in favor and this is moving in a 2-hour uptrend, this is liable to make it through. Or you can wait till they get on top of this 275, 276 number, all right, and hold for 3-4 days. Look for that green erases red and buy into that. Either way works for me. That CRML. CRML. You got kind of a downtrend right through here. It looks like it got broke. Not really the prettiest of downtrends. Right there, so you broke. So you got a breakout, a pullback. This looks like an MMRP. There's a 1 candle rip, consolidate, test the base. See, there's test of the base. I would look for 3 daily candles. Here's the first one. And I would look for 2 more. And each one should make a higher low and a higher high. And you might get 4, 5, and 6, but I only count on 2 and 3. So this is, to me, this is a bullish MMRP. All right. You got your igniting candle, okay, that breaks through the resistance overhead. And then you rest. And then you come back and you test the support area to see if it's going to hold. Okay. And then this becomes the first price advancement candle right there. And then you look for 2 more to follow it. 2 more to follow that. All right. Sometimes you get 4, 5, and 6 if you're lucky. All right. So, but I would look for 2 more, each one making a higher low and a higher high. All right. Each one of those 2 candles. This is a setup for an MMRP on that one. That's bullish, by the way. That's the bullish MMRP. I think I answered all the questions. Okay. All right, traders. Okay, I'll see you all tomorrow. NNE, small nuclear play, seems like the weakest of the cohort. SMR, BXT. Not sure. Thanks, Sharon. NNE. Nano nuclear. Let's put in trend line first. Okay, you're just now breaking trend. You still really haven't even broke. You're trying to break trend right here. SMR. Let me go back to NNE. I like to have that. SMR. There's a downtrend there. This is hard to trend out. This is easy to trend out right here. I can see all the touches. This is hard when it does that cupping motion like that. I don't know. NNE looks a little bit stronger than SMR. SMR's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days. NNE's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green days right there. Okay, they got more green days than SMR. But I don't know what you're looking at when you say weakness. So, and the other one was ACLO and BWXT. ACLO, still on the daily chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, same as NNE. And same position as NNE too. You got that, see that spike candle trying to break through and get on top of this downtrend. Remember, NNE had the same thing. See? That's NNE's doing the same darn thing. And they got 8 green dots as well. Let's try BWXT. Okay, so there. This is the strongest one. Right here. This is the strongest. I mean, you're in an uptrend. You've been in an uptrend. Right there. And this is definitely the strength out of everybody that you mentioned. Because look, this goes up, kind of gives it up, but makes a higher low. All right, runs up, makes an equal high, and then higher low, and then equal high, and then higher low, and then equal high, equal low, and then higher high. No telling how far this pulls back, but you should find support right here, right there. Okay, they should find support right there, or at the uptrend line. This is your strongest one, but look at the price of it. Oh my gosh, that's scary. It's going to tie up all my capital. It's hard to play when they're like that. They're not as fun as when they're $30 and $20. Yeah, well, they're doing well. I mean, well, the market likes them. All right, from right there, 85, up to 210. The market obviously likes what they're doing. Oh, so they got a hit. Yeah, I would let that settle out. That usually takes about sometimes 6 months to a year for that to settle out. Sometimes 3 months. So you might get some opportunity on BWXT in the coming months right there. All right, thanks everybody. All right, you guys have a beautiful evening. Thank you for everybody that shared in the room today. Appreciate that. Thanks for asking the questions, because let me just say, when you ask the questions, everybody learns. All right? CCJ is the uranium tab. CCJ. Yeah, CCJ. Another uptrend right there. That one looks better than BWXT. Look at that. That's it's another one that looks good. Again, you're right up where sellers were before. Okay, see that? You can see this is where sellers showed up before. Right there. Maybe it gets on top and holds. We'll find out. All right, that's it. All right, traders. Everybody have a beautiful evening. See y'all tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning. Tough day for me. Tough day. No trend. A lot of slop. Back and forth. Over VWAP. It was not easy. Not easy. Constantly tweaking and flipping and not fun at all. Not fun. I would have rather taken the day off. Okay, but you don't know what it's going to be till you trade it sometimes. Again, the PPO was not 0.06 or better. All right, either negative 0.06 or positive 0.06. I'm telling you, the PPO works. Okay, you want easy? Find yourself a nice day where the PPO is up over 0.06 on the QQQ or the SPY. I'll bet you the QQQ was up over 0.06 because they made some new all-time highs. Let's just look at the 10-minute PPO on the QQQ. Okay. Oh, yeah, look at that. 0.08. See this? 0.08. 10-minute chart. Okay. This is the better one to trade. The QQQ. See? Look at the 10-day ATR. 938. Look at the SPY. Okay, 702. This is the better performer. Right here. I keep saying it. All right. 938. Look at the PPO. Up over 0.06. That's the one. You got the beautiful picture of money right there. That's the easy money right there. You can see it where the 8 and the VWAP just get wider and wider and wider. See? QQQ made new all-time high, and it shows right there in the PPO. All right? You can see that if you don't have a PPO over 0.06, it might be better just to Sit on your hands for the day. All right, that's it, traders, for the third and fourth time. This is the final time now, okay? See you guys tomorrow in the morning, 8 o'clock. We'll do some more talking. All right, have a great evening. Thank you.